Hi, it's Winton Churchill with the Barefoot Consultants, and I'd like to welcome you to our Facebook Friday where we talk about all things freelancing. Today, we're going to talk about 5 business building formulas as we come into the fall season. This is typically a time of the year that, uh, you know, uh, business can tend to wind down for freelancers. For some that know how to handle this season, the holiday season can be a very productive time, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. We'd like to welcome all of our live listeners today, and we'd like to welcome our folks listening to this on the replay. That's about 95% of the folks listen during the week, so we're glad to have you here, and we're happy to respond to any chats you might have or questions that you want to put in the chat. So even if you're listening to this after the live event, we monitor the chat and are happy to answer those questions. So first, we'll sort of set the stage for what happens. We're for freelancers, we're coming into a time where we have holidays coming up, and it starts with Halloween and goes into and let's see, I think it starts with Canada Day too. That influences amounts of freelance activity, and of course, things wind down a lot in the United States. Particularly, we see that between the period of Thanksgiving and the New Year, that a lot of our buyers get busy on other stuff and don't think about us, and we run into problems because they're focused on wrapping up their year. A lot of people have requirements to do year-end reporting, sort of close out open activities. They have things on their personnel key result areas that they have to have completed by the end of the year in order to achieve bonuses and that kind of thing. So a lot of times people are very much focused on all those kinds of things. And so what we want to talk about is what can you do to offset that. Now, many of you have worked in businesses that are cyclical. And for example, a lot of retail stores and what we used to think of as retail stores, but online, do a large portion of their business during the holiday season. I mean, it might be as much as 80 or 90%. I think I remember reading somewhere that some number like that, 80% of all books are sold in the holiday season. So it's a very huge time for booksellers. They have to make sure that everything's ready to go and they can service the demand for folks. And the good news is a lot of people are buying books off Kindle, so you don't have to ship them anywhere, but you have to have everything posted and all your links set up and all those kinds of things. So, uh, you know, great time to think about the fall season and think about how you prepare for that. So the first thing you want to realize, particularly earlier in the fall season, is there is peak work in many organizations. So uh, formula number one is going back to freelancers that you've worked with and say that you're available for any peak work they might have, that you can uh, step into roles and help them, if they do have to get their say their systems set up, or they need support in uh, creating their shopping cart. Now, you may not do shopping carts, but the person in their organization that does shopping carts may do some other things that have to be covered while that person is pulled in, devoted totally to getting their shopping cart working. So this is the idea, is you're not, maybe that person that works on the shopping cart has a bunch of proofreading they're always doing on items that go into the shopping cart. So you have the opportunity to go in and suggest that you can help for this peak demand. And if the shopping cart person, part of their work is making sure everything's crazy, and all the time we're all looking at things that aren't quite right. We see typos in shopping carts, we see wrong prices, we see wrong descriptions. They may not be showstoppers, but it's not the way you want to represent the organization. So that's the idea. The next part of that, part number two, the formula, is to suggest that you can help your client wrap up projects that are have break off and give to me so that I help you get it done. And so that's uh, step number two. The just asking the question, is there a piece you can break off and give to me that I can help you with? That's an idea that the person may not have asked themselves that question. That's a very powerful question to ask. So consider that. The next one is to ask, do you have any folks with vacation time coming up where I might be of service in helping you cover that vacation time? So in the United States in particular, as we come up to Thanksgiving, what a lot of people do is they save up 3 of their vacation days, and they take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They have Thursday, and a lot of organizations also have Friday off. So by taking 3 vacation days, you get a whole week off, and that's a pretty cool thing. That was always felt like you're playing on house money when you do that. You only spend 3 vacation days, but you get 7 days of time off from work. So that's a good thing. So yeah, go ahead and do that. That so be sure and consider that. Um, the other thing that's kind of current in the news is you've probably heard about the Great Resignation. So also help me understand, folks on the line. Just type yes in the chat window in order um, to help me understand. If you've heard about the Great Resignation, it's a relatively new thing, and here we have a member is making the point that it's great to have a wise money management plan in place throughout the year so that your slow season doesn't impact your ability to pay your bills. And yes, there's nothing worse than, as they say, running out of money before you run out of month. I think is a sort of popular, partly humorous kind of thing that can happen. And so uh, the Great Resignation is basically people are going back to work, and they're finding it's just too distasteful. They're too comfortable with not having to commute, not having to jump on the highway early in the morning, get dressed, put on their business suit, all the things that go along with working in an office. uh you know Taking time off for lunch or eating through lunch and getting something at the deli in the bottom of the office building, like I used to do many times, and then have the long commute home. They find there were many surveys done of CEOs during the pandemic, asking them, do they feel like they're getting diminished output from their employees because they're working at home? And in most of the surveys, 70, 80, 90% of the people that were surveyed who were managers said that they felt like they were getting more work done, and they felt on average they were getting 2 to 3 hours a day more out of people, just because they didn't have to commute. They could be more flexible, they could take breaks during the day. So sometime at work your productivity goes way down just because you can't take a break. If you could take a 10-minute break, go sit down someplace, close your eyes, meditate, relax, whatever, get some food, get some water, rehydrate yourself, that kind of thing, then you become very much more productive. And this is what, you know, managers found during the pandemic, that this productivity, translated into getting more work done. So as the great resignation happens, as people go back to work and they find, it's kind of like taking your shoes off and running barefoot for a year and a half. Uh, it's tough to get those shoes on the first time. Some people do it. Some people it makes sense to. Some people it's no big thing for. But for some people, they say, I don't want to sit in this office next to a bunch of people that are coughing and hacking through the winter season or fall and winter. I don't like, every time I get up and I go get a drink or I go to the restroom or whatever, somebody's counting those times. I don't like just the office chatter that's always going on, the office distractions. I mean, some people love to get ready for birthdays, but if you work in a big organization, like a couple that I worked in, there's a birthday every 2 or 3 days, and there's all the hoopla, and let's come in to the employee cafeteria and sing happy birthday and that kind of thing. And that's great if it's people on your team and that sort of thing. But if it's, somebody that works in the fourth floor in accounting and you're on the sixth floor in marketing, and you may not even know who that person is. So there's lots of those kind of time wasters that pop up when you're looking around in your organization as you come back off the pandemic sort of thing, and you're more aware of it. You've been on a fast with all that internal interaction, and now you're better equipped to recognize it when you're used to experiencing it. You kind of tune it out. So this is a big thing. Some organizations are experiencing up to between 30 and 40% of attrition from people that are not coming back to work or don't want to work, or they want to work remotely. And then it's not a big step for somebody that says, hey, I want to work remotely, and either the company has a plan for doing that, or the person can peel off into freelancing and find a career there. So, welcome from Milton, Freewater, Oregon. Come on in. Yes, we're talking about the 5 formulas you can use in order to enhance your business towards the end of the year. And before we summarize those, the fifth thing I want to talk about is everybody, of course, is focused on getting things done by the end of the year. They got to do that to get their bonus. They got to do that to make their boss happy and complete everything that's going on. And but what about January? Our company is one that every year January is our busiest month, because people, they sit down over the holidays and they say, damn it, I've been thinking about freelancing for, you know, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, it goes way out. And they say, this year I'm going to do it, by God. I'm going to find a way to make this part of my life and learn how to freelance and that kind of thing. So as a result, we do a lot of promotion around the first part of the year. And because it starts at the very first part of the year, we can't wait till get it all done the week before. We have to plan and drop all those things into our system so that they're ready to go, both on the side of promoting those products and services at the beginning of the year, but also on the side of updating our coursework and that kind of thing, to make sure it's top notch in terms of the information that's providing right at the first of the year. And so one of the kind of things that we do is we have a list of updates and changes that we need to make to our systems, and we bring in freelancers to help us with that process. Some of it could be proofreading, some of that could be modifying some of the materials in there, some of it could be editing videos so that we can um, add new videos to the process and to our courseware and have those uploaded and ready to go. So a lot of work for many organizations in January that has to be ready to go. And if you raise your hand with your client and say, listen, during this time of year, I know you're very busy, but some of my clients have to get ready for promotions, launches, peak activity beginning in January. And if you've got any projects that require your attention, that they be ready to go before we break for the holidays, I can help with that. So this is helping them understand how you can help them. And of course, they're probably not thinking about that. They're thinking about getting the year-end stuff done. And by sort of tickling their imagination with the question, the very specific question of, hey, anything I can help you with coming up in January that I can work on now so you're ready to go. And that invites lots of people, lots of managers, lots of freelance buyers saying, well, let's see, in January, we do, that's when we do a lot of our HR stuff. We do a lot of annual reviews in January. And so, we have freelancers that come out of the HR world and they know how to prepare documents and annual reviews and all that kind of stuff. So that could be a job. I talked to a freelancer recently that was in HR, and they had been hired to actually give or ask questions of in a company where they survey their employees about attitudes and processes and improvements and things like that. And they were just flat out of people. So they went out and hired half a dozen HR people that had experience with this kind of thing so that they could get through the interview of their entire organization and capture all that information at the beginning of the year. So lots of good opportunity to fill up your dance card as you go into the end of the year. Now, the other thing is a lot of our folks are baby boomers, and they love to work hard when it's time to work hard, and they love to take time off as well. And so that might be your business model to be able to spend more time with the family this time of year and that sort of thing. So just something to consider. It makes very good sense to balance your the workload that you do, and this may be the time you do that. I know other freelancers that like to work during this time because there's more work available for people trying to get their year closed out. And so if you're one of those and you like to take off a few months in the summer, and that's when you do your relaxing and family stuff and that kind of thing, either can work. But the point is no matter where you are in your freelance career, there are always things that you can do to accelerate the volume of work and get into the work that you want to do. So I'm happy to take any questions you might have about that. If you're a freelancer or thinking about becoming a freelancer, that's who we cater to a whole bunch, is people that are especially people that are 50 plus who are considering the world of freelancing. The great thing about freelancing for 50 plus folks is they have great gobs of experience. And many years ago, I helped a number of people when I moved to Mexico, just help figure out how to do the same thing that I was doing, which was living in Mexico and working online. And didn't really I thought, how hard can this be? I've been doing it. I figured out how to do it. Most everybody ought to be able to figure out how to do it. And had a few friends that knew I was doing it and said, "Hey, can you help me figure out how to do this for me?" And I helped a few folks. And one of them said, you ought to turn this into a training program. And that happened I guess it was about a little over 14 years ago now. And we've been blessed with over 45,000 people going through our programs, attending our workshops, going to our live events. So it's been very gratifying in that regard. The world of freelancing has changed pretty dramatically since we started, but interestingly enough, the fundamentals are kind of the same. You need to go online and create a profile, which is a little like a resume. But if you make the mistake of cutting and pasting for your resume, it's probably not going to work because it's very different in some aspects. And some of the other things you do is think about keywords. A lot of people think they have to stumble into freelancing doing exactly what they were doing, and it's a great chance to break out in something that you enjoy doing. Of all the work, if you're working now, you might like to do some things and might not like to do others. And if you really enjoy making PowerPoint presentations and are good at that, but you only do that a few hours a week, here's your chance to dive in and do it more hours a week and help people that are much less further along than you are in your PowerPoint skills. So a great way to look at that. So lots of good opportunity to keep your dance card full, lots of fun ways to do that. And, you know, take a re-listen and figure out how that might work for you. And if you're interested in learning about how to do this, head on over to our site at barefootconsultants.com and you'll see lots of tools and programs and coaching that can be of help to you. So I'll pop that link in the chat window here so you can head over there and take a look. And for those of you that are in our programs, we look forward to seeing you this coming Tuesday night. This is our after party Tuesday night. So we're going to do a little bit of training and then a little bit of fun and frivolity. We'll be branching over onto a Zoom call where we can all see each other and have fun and have a little freelancer costume contest and give away some prizes. We'll have a few of our quiz show games to test your knowledge on freelancing based on some of the things that you've learned in our program, and generally have a lot of fun. We do a lot of Q&A during that time and kind of let our hair down. Don't laugh. I finally figured out that my job was to let my hair down, not let it out. And but we still have fun. So looking forward for our members to seeing you there on next Tuesday night. Let's see what date on the calendar is that. That's the 26th. And for the rest of you, if you've got questions about how all this works, how you learn how to become a freelancer, how you tap into your considerable skills, if you're over 50 years or older, you've got decades of skills and experience. And the hardest part of becoming a freelancer is not learning a whole bunch of new stuff, but learning how to describe the skills you already have in a way that encourages people to buy your services. And that's in essence what we do for folks. So look forward to seeing everybody next Facebook Friday, and also in our meetings and programs between now and then. So have a great week freelancing, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.